Don't do drugs, kids. Hi, I'm Andre, and I'm a black nerd with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode recap. Turtle Power. Fungus Humongous has to be the weirdest and best episode of Ninja Turtles I've ever seen. This mutagen lands in the sewer and connects with some kind of fungus, which creates all these mushrooms to take over the sewer, kind of similar to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Trust the fungus. That's pretty much the basic plot. There's not much more to it. It's a very simple plot. How they show off the plot is what's amazing. So these fungus spit out this toxin, and when the toxin gets in you, it makes you think of your worst fears. Kind of like the stuff that Scarecrow uses. I'm already thinking crossover. I'm already thinking that the Scarecrow found this stuff in the sewers, picked it up, made his own concoction, and that's what he used in Batman Begins. So there you go. Ninja Turtles, Nickelodeon, and Batman Begins. Same universe. So everyone gets sprayed with this fungus and all their worst fears come out. Casey Jones, as we established earlier, is afraid of rats. So when he gets sprayed, he just sees rats everywhere. Raphael, the same thing. Everything turns to cockroaches in the Cockroach Terminator. Meanwhile, Michelangelo is afraid of the squirrel-noise from a previous episode, so he starts seeing those. April O'Neil is afraid that her mutant dad is going to eat her. That was very weird to say. Donatello's was a little too personal. Donatello was afraid that April would not like him anymore because of what they did to April's dad. Not only is he afraid of April not liking him anymore, he's also afraid of April liking Casey Jones, which makes this beautiful scene of this giant face of Casey and little April's around him kissing the face. Donatello is just screaming like, no! And Leonardo's fear, of course, is that he would lose his entire team, that he would let them down. And the way that they show this is just so amazing. The animation in this is top notch. This is probably one of the most beautifully animated episodes I have seen of this show, because the things that they did to show off the fears was just incredible. You would see characters talking, but they would look like the fear. You had these really crazy psychedelic trips. I mean, there is clearly some drug-influenced ideas based in this episode. All the way down to the music. The music was very like 60s, 70s, trippy drug music. You know, all that, like the rock and the very hippie feeling. It was just very detailed. They also referenced Fantasia, which I thought was interesting. There's this whole bit where it's done to classical music and all the little mushrooms are walking around and dancing and stuff like that. Very, very clear Fantasia reference. There's even a Super Mario Brothers reference. Michelangelo is jumping on a bunch of mushrooms, and then all of a sudden it turns into a video game and he's all like, look at me, I'm Super Mikey Brothers, and it even looks like it's 8-bit with 100 points popping up after every jump. I would have been interested to see Splinter get hit by this. He's the only character that doesn't get hit by the fungus, and it would have been interesting to see what Splinter's fear would be, but of course Splinter is just the master sensei, so it's not like toxins would bother him anyway. If I were to be a little nitpicky, I was a little surprised that April was affected, since she wasn't affected by the mutagen at all because she's part mutant. It kind of surprised me a bit that she was affected by fungus toxin that was obviously made by mutagen. I guess that was her half human side. Biracial. Does that make her biracial? Is that, how do you explain that? Bimutant? For something that just seemed like a simple premise, it was so innovative, and that's what's interesting to me about Ninja Turtles. It seems like the episodes where there's not a lot going on sometimes end up being some of the better episodes. That's how I feel about Squirrel-a-Noise. I thought that was gonna be this throwaway episode, but it ended up being actually very entertaining. It was a one-off horror movie type of feeling, and this was a one-off trippy drug. It almost makes me sad about some of the episodes where a lot of information has to come out, because I feel like sometimes they have to give out so much information, like April being a mutant or the plans of the Krang, that there's not a lot of room for them to be creative. Episodes like this, where they just have a very simple premise, but they have to fill up that time, it allows these animators and writers to just be a little bit more creative with what they do. And that's what turns out to be some really good episodes for this season. I absolutely loved this episode. I did not think, especially after seeing the whole April's a mutant and that was the promo for the next week, I was just like, oh boy. But this was fun. This was a lot of fun. So good job Ninja Turtles with this episode. You don't need to watch this if you're trying to follow along with the basic storyline, but do not skip it. And I think the biggest lesson from this is don't do drugs. I think that's pretty much it. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad, okay? Now I want to hear from you. What did you think about this episode of TMNT? It was a filler episode, but was it a good one for you? And if you were sprayed by this evil fungus toxin, what would your biggest fear be? What would you be seeing as your fear? I love you like a play cousin. I'm Addy 5000. Chain chomp, yomp. That's a super mega win. No, it's not. It's not a super mega win because of the fact that you said super mega win. This is April O'Neil on Channel 6 News.